My thoughts on the Teen Titans Go to the Movies trailer, no. Guys, I don't think they liked it.
Wow, totally forgot I saw the Teen Titans Go film trailer. That should tell you something.
All right, pack it up. Animation is canceled. They're making a Teen Titans Go movie.
I still can't believe that Teen Titans Go is getting a movie on the big screen. Frowny face! Friend Titans, do you realize what this means? People are talking about our movie!
Hello and welcome. I'm your host Comic Knight Zero, and today we're taking a look at Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Now it seems that the popular vote here is to bash the show regardless of the episode. Now keep in mind, not everyone does this, but I think we can all agree that it's a common theme. And I can agree with their annoyance and disappointment towards the show to some extent, especially with episodes that kind of repeat themselves in terms of conflict, when episodes feel too simple, or sometimes when they're just too weird. I'm looking at you, Dignity of Teeth. And with episodes like these, I often got the impression that the writers might be phoning it in at times. But as a casual watcher, I think that when the series really tries and does something a bit different, they can put out some pretty good episodes. Episodes like The Cape, Rocks and Water, and Yearbook Madness are some of my personal favorites. But after episodes like The Fourth Wall and Let's Get Serious, many people, including myself, began recognizing Teen Titans Go as a show that knows how to make fun of itself. And so when I saw them announce that there would be a Teen Titans Go movie, I was a bit hesitant at first, mostly because I wasn't quite sure what it could possibly be about. And after watching the first trailer, my concern grew even more. Would this really be nothing more than an hour and a half of just potty jokes? Is this how they're going to spend their moments on the big screen? But then, there was a glimmer of hope.
Stop right there!
Deadpool?
Deadpool? What? Why does everybody think I'm Deadpool?
I thought Deadpool was a good guy.
By the way, he should be saying that he's not me. Okay, because I came out, like, way before he did.
After watching the later trailers and understanding that this movie had a somewhat meta plot about how they weren't quite famous enough to get their own movie yet, I thought it was an interesting idea. Maybe this movie wasn't doomed after all. And I have to be honest, I think the show's ability to use self-humor and self-awareness as a plot is something I think only a massively hated show like Teen Titans Go could pull off, and could pull it off well. And so, I took my little brother to see it over the weekend. Was it a waste of time? Honestly? No. Now, I'll admit, the opening scene was a bit weak for me, but it was needed to help emphasize and set up the plot. Plus, I think it made up for it as the movie progresses. When it comes to movies based on TV shows or already established series, one of the main things I look for is expanding upon a world that the audience is already familiar with. It needs to introduce something new to me without feeling awkward or unwarranted. It just needs to make sense in terms of both narrative and setting. And I think Teen Titans Go did a pretty good job at it. We've been exposed to other heroes in the world of Teen Titans Go before, and so even though only a handful of these heroes have been mentioned or have made slight cameos in the show, seeing these superheroes appear in large quantities didn't feel out of place. And I thought there were a lot of good jokes involving some of their powers or backstories. Even though they don't expand upon it much, it was still nice to see the Titans venture out to another town besides Jump City. I feel like had they stayed in that one town, it would lose that sense of exploration and adventure. And I wasn't really expecting this, but there were a good amount of musical numbers in the movie. Honestly, there was a couple I could have done without, but I think some of them worked well as an excellent tool to get the idea across. Although I didn't quite need an unexpanded idea conveyed to me for 2 to 3 minutes straight. But it was fine nonetheless. In terms of character development, there really wasn't any except for Robin. The other Titans are there moreover for the supporting role, so it felt more like a Robin movie than a Teen Titans one. Which is totally fine. I mean, I'd hate to see an hour and a half movie trying to balance the goals and motivations of 5 different characters. Like, good luck with that. So we're good in that regard. In general, I didn't find any of the Titans to be annoying. Thankfully, Robin stuck to his more serious side of himself from the show, helping serve as the group's straight man and helping the others understand what needs to get done. I know in the show, Raven's personality would often flip-flop between being a no-nonsense character to an all-nonsense character from episode to episode. In this movie, the writers chose to go with the more sillier Raven in the film, which I think helps emphasize the contrast between Robin's seriousness and the other Titans' goofiness. Everyone else, moreover, seemed to stay true to their character based on what we've seen mostly throughout the show. I found there to be a decent amount of good jokes sprinkled throughout the film. Some of the humor came from references to jokes made in the show itself, and if you ask me, if you don't get some of the jokes or haven't seen the episodes that they reference, it really shouldn't ruin the experience for you, since none of these jokes really go on for too long. And yes, I will admit, there is some use of potty humor throughout the movie, but, to be fair, it only makes up a small fraction of the jokes you'll see. Overall, I think the movie played to its strengths with its moderate use of self-awareness and fourth wall breaking. I mean, even Slade the antagonist stated that the item he was after would make for a good plot device. So I hope that gives you a general idea of the type of humor you can expect from the movie. Speaking of which, our boy Slade brings a less aggressive and a more comedic approach to the villain role, fending off the Titans in a somewhat silly manner and also acknowledges the fact that no one takes them seriously, similar to how the other heroes treat the Titans. Although you could see it coming a mile away, I thought the evil plans were simple, but a tad bit clever, or at least on how Slade wanted to execute it. And with that being said, I could understand why the Titans weren't initially looking out for it, given their want to become something more than just mere sidekicks or laughingstocks. It was really their dreams of having their own movie that prevented them from seeing the full truth of what was really going on. Throughout the movie, I really enjoyed the mix of different animation styles during certain sequences. I certainly wasn't expecting those, but I'm glad they were in the movie and they were pretty entertaining to watch, and I'd like to commend whoever helped animate those scenes. Great job. Obviously, they still use the same art style of the show for the bulk of the film, but fortunately, the backgrounds had a bit more color and detail to them, and it didn't feel like it was clashing with our characters in the foreground. Unlike the flat and horizontally oriented feeling you typically see in the show, there were a good amount of scenes that felt a little more dynamic and helped emphasize depth. Or at least, it was a big enough difference for me to notice. There were a few action scenes in here, although I was really hoping that there would have been a bit more, and some of them felt a little underwhelming or too short. But you have to remember that comedy comes first in this version of Teen Titans, so it is what it is. So yeah, those are my general thoughts. When I took my brother to see this, I went into this movie with a more neutral mindset. It was where I wasn't expecting much, but at the same time, I didn't think it'd be a complete disaster. Like I've said before, I felt that this was a plot and writing tone that the show could work well with in terms of a movie. And I think it did just that. As a casual watcher of the show, along with my brother who doesn't really watch the show at all, we both agreed that it was a fairly decent movie. Like, yeah, the movie could have done better in some areas, but I wasn't disappointed with what I saw. If you're a fan of the show, if you like superhero movies in general, or if you're a casual watcher like me, then you should have a fun time with it. And if you just don't mind the show in general, then I guess it really just depends on what you're looking for here. If you're looking for a movie with tons of dynamic and super choreographed action scenes, then you may have to look elsewhere. Remember, don't expect it to primarily be an action movie. Comedy comes first. Yes, there is some potty jokes in here, but they aren't used as the bulk of the humor here, and hopefully it shouldn't ruin the movie for you. If you're a parent, which if you are, I doubt you'd be watching this video, but just in case, if you're a parent of a child who likes this show, then I think your kids will definitely enjoy this. I see this as a family film, so who knows, you might enjoy it as well, or at least just a little if you don't mind the show. Oh, and sorry about the ending there. Good luck answering that question. And make sure you watch the mid-credits scene. There's something there you need to see. And with that, I think that'll just about do it for today. Do you plan on watching the Teen Titans Go movie? If you've seen it already, what'd you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, I'd ask you to smash those like and subscribe buttons, but I recommend you get consent before you do. And with that, I shall see you all next time.